So Circe Gonzalez here, hailing from Virginia, where it's currently hailing outside and we have a snow day. Woohoo. My one word on approach, which we'll dig into here in a second, is transdisciplinary. For a little background, Chesapeake Bay National Estuarine Research Reserve in Virginia leads the York River and Small Coastal Basin Roundtable, which is a forum for information sharing and collaboration among water quality and conservation-minded stakeholders within Virginia's York River, Mobjack Bay, and Piankatank watershed system. This roundtable supports the Commonwealth's effort to protect water quality and conserve coastal resources for the betterment of its communities. It does this by promoting place-based coordination and collaboration on watershed issues of mutual concern and interest. The roundtable body is presently composed of more than 80 members representing government, nonprofit, industry, academia, and civic interest groups. In 2019, this roundtable drafted a 2-year strategic plan derived through participatory processes. This plan details a suite of deliverables that roundtable members committed to supporting, among them quality, rigorous, and objective science on the state of the watershed through regularly released State of the York and Surrounding Small Coastal Basins report. In a subsequent steering committee meeting, wherein strategic deliverables were prioritized, this report rose to the top of the list. Members stressed that 20 years had passed since the first publication of the State of the York, rendering its content dated and impact diminished, even while contemporary information and data existed in relative abundance. So the need for a current, comprehensive, and accessible look at York River watershed health and resilience thus reflects the lack of any such holistic report in the last 20 years and a missed opportunity in sharing resulting content with eager watershed stakeholders for improved decision-making. Next. Roundtable members are considered the primary target audience of this project, as their request for a related report is the driving force behind its synthesis. But that said, the scope of our end users is wide, and while final products will namely inform watershed practitioners like local governments, informal and formal educators, elected officials, grant seekers, and researchers, those who live and play in the watershed, those who vote in watershed districts are a part of this process in our end game as well. With respect to process, we're focused on co-production and centering our products around the end users. This is all in the spirit of transdisciplinary collaboration, a schematic of which I have here. You'll note that by the third iteration or evolution of collaborative approaches, boundaries are irrelevant, disciplines converge, and the outcomes are arrived out of boundaries and into the community. Arriving at solutions in this space is where the roundtable sees its work transitioning and how we justify our role as a relationship broker. Our timeline flows in a manner similar to what is depicted on this slide. Overall, we transition from needs assessment through to synthesis, content and product development, and finally onto rollout and outreach. You'll note that we've included the events leading up to this project and those that will follow, specifically that which relate to tailored outreach for the target audiences of our roundtable members. Along the way, of course, we're using plenty of collaborative tools, including Padlet, which I think we'll use later. One of its manifestations is here, a timeline to keep track of who is on what when. Our final product includes a print-ready report on the status, trends, and opportunities within the watershed, as well as a digital product to complement the written one. Each of these will be developed in the spirit of narrative science, really pairing that quantitative information with the qualitative. We hope these deliverables will convey the most appropriate and applicable information on the York watershed to all stakeholders in a readily accessible, digestible fashion for informed decision-making and watershed awareness. Thanks.